How many genders are there?
It's a spectrum, so like a lot.
A lot? Guys, I want to talk to you today about something that's actually true and actually useful and can actually benefit you in real life. Today, as usual, I'm going to talk to you guys about the price action, but signs that the bull trend is returning and signs that the downtrend is ending. Because lately, guys, since February, SPY has been in a downtrend and it has been incredible. This ride to the downside has been like a roller coaster ride, and I've had a lot of fun. It's like an amusement park. I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys had a lot of fun and made a lot of money. But I want to talk to you guys about how we know this ride is going to end and we're going to shift into the bull trend. Well, unlike a lot of other YouTubers, Uncle don't do the whole, hey, my 12,000 indicators said that the bottom is in, so it's time to go back to the top. Yeah, like I don't really do that, guys. You guys know who does that. Uncle doesn't do that. And I got no problem with people who do that, but I just have my own ways of doing things. I don't call a bottom or a top, but I always like to pay attention to the signs. And when I pay attention to the signs, I want to know the triggers as well. So, because I want to know how to enter, when I'm going to enter, what should I enter, and all that happy stuff. So how do we know that the bull trend is coming back and that the downtrend, the bear trend, is starting to come to an end? Well, I wrote this back in February 4th, 2023, a couple years ago. I had like 5 conditions, right? 5 conditions after watching and studying a good amount of crashes. Price action, guys, price action. There are conditions and signs that we can pay attention to and watch out for to know that the bull trend is coming back, guys. Now, keep in mind, if you guys are not interested in this information, this free information, you guys use the timestamp and skip ahead, okay? And get to the price action plan for the day. But if you're interested in knowing this information, or you never heard it before, maybe you heard it before, but maybe a little review, stick around, all right? So, condition 1. Condition 1 to see if a bull market is coming back is the clearing of the 23.6 fib level. Now, when I wrote this, I was talking about the example from the 2008 crash. But the example I'd like to use today, because it's the most recent, is what happened back in 2020 with COVID. All right, if you guys remember, back in February 2020, right, we crashed, right? Crashed from a high of 339. And in a matter of weeks, we crashed all the way down to 218. Wow, right? That's an incredible crash. So I put my fib level to the high and I brung it down all the way down to the low, and it gives me the fib level, 78.6 fib level, 61.8 fib level, 50% fib level, 38.2 fib level, and of course the 23.6 fib level. And I said in condition 1 that you want to see the 23.6 fib level. That's the first level to get recaptured. And you guys can see that's what happened. That was the first sign that this downtrend, this crash was over, was that we recaptured the 23.6 fib level. Okay? You look at condition 2, the recapture of the 200 DMA. The recapture of the 200 DMA. Yeah, it took SPY a while to recapture the 200 DMA at the time, but once they did, they recaptured it back in May of 2020, and they treated it like support a couple months later, multiple times before setting SPY up to new all-time highs. Okay, so the recapture of the 23.6 fib level was the first thing. The 200 daily moving average was another sign or condition. The next one was the golden cross. That's when the 50 DMA crosses back above the 200. You guys know about the death cross, and there's the golden cross, which it happened back in July of 2020. Okay. What else? Condition 4, I call this one the stacked moving average. Okay. The stacked moving average is when the 5 DMA is on top of the 20 is on top of the 50, and the 50 is on top of the 200. Okay. So we bring the 5 and the 2 and the 20 out. You can see that the stack moving average didn't happen until, right around July of 2020 once again. And from there, SPY was pretty much back in bull market mode and just kept going up from there. Okay, if we all recall. So, and then the last one is the recapture of the golden zone. Okay, now there is a debate in the Fibonacci community of what is the golden zone. Some people say the golden zone is the 50% fib level to the 61.8 fib level. Some people say it's a 61.8 fib level. Has to be that level. Okay? But the point is that all of those conditions were met back in July of 2020 and we went on a bull market. But the first thing was the recapture of the 23.6 fib level. So now I'm trying to compare using these conditions and look at the current price action. This is the current price action here, 2025. We are still in a downtrend, but guys, we recaptured that 23.6 fib level, guys, back earlier this week. We also treated that level as a support yesterday. Okay? So right now, the bulls are taking their steps and getting those conditions met, all right? They did recapture the 23.6 fib level. What was my next condition? The recapture of the 200 daily moving average. So where's the 200 daily moving average? It's all the way up here, around 574-ish. The 50 and the 200 is about to kiss and maybe give us a death cross. Who knows? So when we look at this, yes, we are bearish still, and SPY is far from bullish. SPY has a lot of work to do, but the first step it needed to do was recapture the 23.6 fib level. That's the condition I want us to focus on today, okay? So where is that 23.6 fib level? It's at 512.8. So what do we know? As long as above it, we're talking macro level here. As long as above it, the bulls have a shot at more upside. Now, usually I do more micro stuff, right? You guys know my levels, they're more closer, $2 increments and stuff. This is a more macro, okay? Same approach, but more macro. So as long as above 512.8, the bulls have a shot at more upside. And for them to get more upside, they'll have to recapture and clear the next fib level at 532. 50% fib level is at 547.5, and the 61.8 fib level, the golden zone, guys, is at 563. If bulls want to put a bottom in, all those levels must recapture. All right, so that my conditions that I've mentioned that I wrote 2 years ago can be met. Okay, all 5 conditions. I have 5 conditions. All 5 conditions must be met for me to consider the bull market is back and that the downtrend is over. Right now, so far, we've only met condition 1. There are 4 other conditions. We didn't meet them yet. So that's why I'm not fully bullish, but are there signs? Yes. So the bulls, what they need to do is hold that level. What the bears need to do is break down that level, because if that level breaks down, condition 1 is not met. It's invalidated. Below that 23.6 fib level, 512.8, would tell us that the downtrend is not over. And the odds of going to new lows are that much higher. Okay? So right now, this is what I'm saying. Above 512.8, bulls have a shot at more upside. And below 512.8, bears have a shot to continue the downtrend. All right, but Unco is a day trader, right? Unco is a day trader. These are pretty far apart levels, macro. I need some more closer levels so that I can reference, right? So you see this pivot low for March 13th. You see this pivot high for March 25. We want to get some fib levels there, okay? So we go to that low, go to that high, boom. And then we want to get the coordinates in correctly. March 13th low was 549.68. I'll get it there, 549.68. And March 25th high was 576.41. We'll put it in. Boom. It's just that easy to get the levels, guys. And now we got some more micro levels, okay? Micro levels, more closer levels. So Right now, SPY's around 525.8 as of recording this. Unco has resisted at 527, a fib level at 528.6, 530, and then the bigger macro level, the 38.2 fib level at 532. All those levels must recapture. To even get to 532, 527 and 528.6 must clear next to get to 530 and 532. And above 532, guys, because that's a macro level, fib level, a recapture at that level would be bullish for the short term and put 533.2, 535, 536.3, 538, and 539.4 plus all in play. Okay, remember the 50% level, fib level is all the way up at 547.5, and the golden zone, the golden level is at 563. So bulls have a lot of work to do. But pay attention to these more micro levels. They are the stairways, okay? The stairways to get to those higher levels. Now that's the bull case. Gotta clear 532 to get us higher. If we could stay below 532, that's overall bearish for the short term still, okay? Now for bearish follow through, support levels must fail as usual. So I have support at 525, a fib level at 523. If those levels fail, 520 or lower incoming. 520, 518, 516, 514, and then the very important fib level at 512.8. If those levels fail, condition 1 is invalidated. If condition 1 gets invalidated, new lows or previous lows back to 481 will be possible. All right, guys? You got the bull case, you got the bear case. Moving on to triple Q. All right. So it's around 447.5 as of recording this, okay? I do have the next support levels at 447 and 445. That's what I'm going with today. If those levels fail, pullback time, most likely down to 443, 440 or lower. All right? Below 445, I would be bearish for the day. Now, if we are going to get a bounce, 450 must clear. 450 must clear to put 453, 456, and 460 in play. Above 460, that's a fib level. I would favor a bigger bounce to the upside, maybe back to the 470s, okay? But pay attention to that 450 level. Above it, we should be able to get a bigger bounce. Below it, and loss of 447 and 445, we should get a much deeper pullback. Tesla, I had this downtrend on Tesla after that big pop on Wednesday. It gave us the third test, and then we gapped down a little bit. Now, if we are to keep on going down, giving us previous low or new lows, I have a fib level at 252.3. As long as below it, more downside is possible. Loss of 251, 249, and 247 should send us back down at least to 243.3, which is a fib level. And loss of that fib level should be a bearish sign that we are heading down a lot lower, down to 240, 238, 235, and 233.5 in play. All right. Now, if we get above 252.3, a bounce is possible with 255, 258, and 260 in play. If those levels recapture, guys, 264 or lower would be in play. I would favor a bigger bounce if we can get back above 270 plus to clear this down trend line. Okay? 252.2 or 0.3, excuse me, 252.3 is the level to watch. Above it, we can get a bounce. Below it, we can pull back some more. NVDA, right around 108.3-ish as of recording. I do have a critical fib level at 108.6. That would be today's equilibrium level on whether to be bullish or bearish, okay? So if we're above it and we clear 110, you want to look to long with 112, 114, and 116 in play. But if we're below it, bearish setups would be better, okay? False breakouts and breakdown of support. So if we're below 108.6 and you see 107 and 105 fail as support, look to short with 103.5, 102, 100.5, 99, and 97.8 all back in play. Coin. It's around 172. I have the fib level at 171.3 and 170. Once again, guys, we break down those levels. We are dropping down to 168, 165, and 163.5. All right? Below 163.5 would also be a loss of two levels, a fib level and the 5 DMA. So be very bearish below 163.5. If we are to be bullish, the next levels that must clear is 174 and 176. If they do, 178, 180, and 184 plus would all be incoming. Volatility, baby. Let's hope it stays and let's hope it's strong today. Let's finish the week strong. Last but not least, here's the VIX. Well, I do have a fib level at 41, all right? It's currently bouncing off that level in the pre-market. If it's a true bounce, next level that must clear is 43, which is testing out. It's actually, it just popped above it as I said that, actually. And above 43, I have 44.7, okay? 44.7 clears. We're likely heading up to 47 and 50 plus. If you want to get bearish, 43 and 41 are the levels that must fail to send us back to 39.4, 38, 36.5 or lower, guys. As always, remember the sheep style principles. We trade to the upside, to the downside. It doesn't matter. As long as there's volatility, the sheep will travel there. Level to level with runners. No greed. It's Friday, guys. Let's finish this strong so we can enter the weekend happy and do what we really love, which is be with our friends and family. Uncle loves you guys. Love y'all for real. Thank you for being here with me. Peace.